Dot, 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 dot. Good morning, everybody. This is Grant. We've got a great show for you today. I did a post yesterday, and we're going to talk about the 5 beliefs I gave up defending and what I learned from them. So, yeah, we're going to talk about what are those beliefs that I just gave up defending and how that enriched my life. We're going to talk about other news, a $69 million NFT, non-fungible token, and how you can see it in New York City if you're in the area. And last but not least, or first, we're going to actually talk about morning cup of gratitude. What are you grateful for this morning? I want to hear about it in the comments below. I want you to tell me what you're most grateful for, what's keeping you pumped, why you're excited about being alive. So I've got 2 quick things because we got a quick show and it's a little bit late in the morning, but here they are. Number 1. I was at the gym this morning at 4:30, and I was super pumped to see my guy, DT Daryl Turner, show up. Now, he seemed to know some of the guys in the gym. That was awesome, so I'm sure he gets there more often than I see him. But it was so cool because I've been going to the gym 2 times a day, in the morning and in the afternoon, and I often just see employees. I very rarely run into actual entrepreneurs. Lisa Welsh says she's grateful that her husband is out making deliveries. Boom! Love it, and you need the help, and I love the fact that you have the help. So I'm really grateful for having seen Daryl Turner out and around because I so rarely get to see this guy, and this guy has the strongest work ethic of people I know. I suggested a book, and then he and I kind of worked out, and it was a great morning. So I'm super grateful for that. I'm super grateful for teachers that care. I was in the sauna this morning and met Jordan. Jordan just cares. He is a musical vocal teacher at Harrison, and he was just sharing his heart on why he's passionate about the students, and it was awesome. Grateful for that. And last but not least, I'm super grateful for my health journey right now. I've been feeling wonky and disjointed. And so I've been bearing down on my fitness, had a really good week last week, got another really good this week. I'm already seeing some results. And more than anything, it's reigniting discipline and focus. And this is why nearly every coach says what I will add to the mix and also say. If you are feeling confused, lost, listless, ambivalent, get rid of nearly all of your distractions, all of your commitments, and get into the gym or start running and just focus on adding one aspect to your fitness journey at a time, and then focus on that, and you will find discipline in those other areas returning. You will find clarity in those other areas returning. So often we get into the hustle. Raise your hand if this is you. We get into the hustle and we say, you know what? I'm going to circle back on my health and fitness. I'm going to focus on this aspect of my business. Actually, you're going to put your health and fitness on the back burner and just focus on the business, focus on work, focus on sales, focus on growth. And suddenly 6 months, 9 months, 12 months go by and you realize, I'm just confused. I'm lost. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Who's been there, right? I guarantee if you put everything to the side other than paying your bills and doing your base responsibilities and then focus on health and fitness, and just a week and just 2 weeks, you will find massive clarity. You'll have higher energy. You'll have more focus, and you'll remember your dreams will return to you. Because remember this, physiology leads psychology, not the other way around. If you're getting fit and working on discipline, that will lead your psychology to be fit and disciplined for the thing in your mind. We often think that our psychology leads our physiology, and though it can definitely impact it, that's only when we're not paying attention and go to default modes. You stand up tall, throw your shoulders back, throw your head up, and look at the world. Make eye contact with people. Lift your head up tall, and you'll realize other areas of your life will fall into place. That's what I'm grateful for. What else are you grateful for this morning? I want to hear it. Tell me in the comments. Tell me what's going on with your life. And let's move forward with other news. So I announced yesterday Cardano launched its smart contracts. And so that everyone knows that I've got my own skin in the game. I've got like nearly 700 Cardano staking right now in the Cardano Dedulus wallet. I've also got another 800, 900 Cardano in my Coinbase account. And so we're all in. And when the smart contracts launch, that doesn't mean they're sudden apps. So some of you might have bought high and sold low. I never recommend you buy high and sell low. I recommend you look for a pullback, put a little bit in, figure out how the thing is moving, and then when it pulls it back below your when you bought in, you buy in more and lower your dollar cost average. I am in it for the long term, so I watched it late last night pull back. I'm in a new buy point. It was around 230, 240 when I woke up this morning, but it's rallied all the way to 270 and brushed $3. And now that smart contracts are here, that will drive up demand. And there's limited Cardano. Now, the other reason I'm talking about this is whales sold off a lot of the profits. That's why we saw the dip. They're just looking for everyone to panic, and they're going to then buy in again. I'm going to buy in again. But two of the biggest factors are this. Ethereum is proof of work, meaning those miners are keep mining and it's bad for the environment. Bitcoin was bad for the environment, certainly, but so has Ethereum. Ethereum's been eating up a ton of power, especially in the form of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, or all the artwork that you see that's digital. You don't have to know about it. It's just eating up a lot of power, tons of power, more than small countries. This fandom is driving more power consumption to small countries. That's not the case with Cardano. Cardano does 1 million transactions per second. Ethereum only does about 1,300 transactions per second. Cardano is a thing called proof of stake, so you don't need any miners mining all this electricity. It's a more green cryptocurrency, and it's like number 3 or 4 right now on Coinbase's market cap. So it's really given Ethereum a run for its money. Now, Ethereum had an advantage because you could do smart contracts. We could do real estate on Ethereum. We could run our businesses on Ethereum. We could do a lot of things that are the future of business. But it's so slow. And here comes Cardano. Cardano's already proof of stake. It does 1 million transactions per second compared to Ethereum's 1,300. And it just rolled out smart contracts last night. I'm very excited over the next 3 to 6 months to see what apps are going to come out. So I'm buying in even more today because it pulled back. That's a quick piece of other news. I don't have a link for you. Go to your favorite Coinbase or whatever and check it out and do your own due diligence. I love it. Let's talk about a piece of art news that just touches a little bit on crypto. So for those who are NFT fans, the collectibles and the art, and I am going to be exploring how NFTs can actually help in the world of personal development. Watch for more news and share this with a friend. In this piece of other news, one of the highest selling official pieces of NFT is by an artist by the name of Beeple. Yes, you heard that right. Beeple, Beeple. He was famous for about a few months ago. He sold a $69 million piece of artwork on auction at Sotheby's, I believe it was. And this was groundbreaking that a piece of digital art would sell for this much. And this is what opened the floodgates of NFT work. Well, you can see this piece if you want. It's called Every Days. The first 5,000 days, Beeple has been actually doing NFT art for nearly 5,000 days. It's going to be on display at a festival in New York City put together by the creator and art director of a group called CryptoPunks. If you don't know about that, look it up. But the article link that I have for you also calls out the flaws of NFTs. And for those who are haters are like, what the crap is this? You should read this article because it actually breaks down some stuff that I really believe is good to see. It's not good for the environment. It really isn't. The transaction fees are through the roof in the hundreds of dollars. And this is heavy on the system because these NFTs all run on the Ethereum network. But this goes back to my point about Cardano. Cardano and Tezos, which is another network that I own and I'm very happy with. You can issue NFTs on these services. And I believe Doja Cat, the musician, just launched a series of NFTs on the Tezos network. And it just went gangbusters, and it's greener, it's more sustainable, it's proof of stake, and it does not require miners to burn up all this electricity that Ethereum and Bitcoin require. So you could consider this third generation cryptocurrency and in the form of NFTs. But you can now go see in New York City at a festival, Beeple's piece of artwork called Every Day. It's the first 5,000 days that's sold in Sotheby's for $69 million. Interesting world. What does this matter? Well, it doesn't really matter much. And if you're like, this is insanity, it is. But hear me out. Art leads nearly every industry. Joseph Campbell, one of my favorite authors and mythologists, said that artists are the closest thing, aside from teachers, to modern day shamans. And here's why. Artists help us emote things that our society is giving birth to that we don't yet have words for yet. So whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's dance, whether it's painting, whatever your art form is, chances are, if you go deep into your heart and mind and actually create a piece, doesn't matter if people like it, it starts to give us expression for things that the rest of society doesn't have words for yet. And this is why I think the bridge between art and reality is often writers and poets, because they are bridging this emotive feeling that other art mediums are conjuring and trying to give it language and experimenting with the language of it. So it's beautiful to watch this NFT art. Why? Because it's the cutting, bleeding edge of what will happen, kind of like the early days of the internet. The early days of the internet was people just blogging and talking about weird stuff and talking about art. But that evolved, and it took the shape of something more substantial. And then the industries come in, the hedge funds come in, they start investing once the technology is proven. And you're going to see this in the area of NFTs. Just give it 6 months to a year, and you're going to start to hear about basically the institutional investing, like the banks and the Sotheby's houses, and they will be investing heavily into digital art, not just in the form of NFTs, but in the form of coupons. And what we're going to experiment with is personal development membership that you can trade and sell with others. But if you show up to an event, or if you have that NFT and possess it, you'll always get my latest and greatest books. There's a lot of benefits that we can innovate in that area, where I can get compensated, but you can actually get powerful work, but you can also trade, sell, and buy it. So you're going to see a lot of this stuff happening in the next few years. That's why I focus on this, and that's why I talk about art and crypto, because it will impact your life. And you don't have to be about that life, but you at least need to be informed about it. And that's why that is other news. Let's talk about the 5 beliefs that I've stopped defending. I might believe them still. I might not believe them still, and you'll learn that. But why my life is enriched and the blessings that came into my life when I stopped defending those beliefs. Yesterday, I was having a glorious introspective day. Marissa and I were at coffee. It was wonderful out. We were sitting, we had our coffee after a nice breakfast, and the wind was blowing. And I was very contemplative. And my heart breaks for the amount of argument and disagreement. Someone pointed out the people in Flight 93 who realized that their plane was flying towards the White House. And in flying towards the White House, they realized that they had to make a stand. And they took it back from the terrorists. Some died, some were injured in that attack, but they took it back from the terrorists. And then there was a mayday out, and you guys know the rest of the tragedy. But it was very heroic, and these people were what I would call heroes. And someone pointed out that look at the contrast to that, to the January 6th uprising, where just Americans were effectively, symbolically accomplishing what the terrorists couldn't. And it broke my heart a little bit that there's so much division. I don't mind if people disagree. I think disagreement is healthy. I think it makes us strong. But what I heavily disagree with is the fact that we can't align with our fellow man, that we have to argue. And this has been weighing on me. And what I realized is whether it's aggressive in the form of physical rioting, protesting's great, rioting, come on. Or whether it's in the form of attacking our government or invading someone's home, everyone is simply defending their beliefs. And I got to thinking, why do people defend their beliefs? Why do people have to make a right comment and then they have to make a left comment, or a left comment and then they have to make a right comment? Why are our churches becoming politicized and being drawn into one way or another? Why are our science institutions being drawn into one camp or the other? It's easy to argue because the arguments themselves are easy to rehearse. And when you get a dopamine hit from saying the same thing over and over again, these story loops. But what we call this in psychology and in personal development is stagnation by hypnotic rhythm. You see, this is a fact. This is a fact that when someone comes to you and says, I want to take a new level, what you look for is where the law of hypnotic rhythm is alive in their life, where they have convinced themselves that they have a belief. This is also known as limiting beliefs. Now, not all limiting beliefs are bad. Hey, I want to go play in the street in the middle of I-4 during busy hour wearing all black, maybe in the middle of night. No reflectors on. That's probably not wise. Why are you imposing your limiting beliefs? Well, that's a healthy limiting belief. But not all limiting beliefs are good. In fact, more limiting beliefs than not are actually bad. And so I just was reflecting on this, and I wrote a post yesterday, and many of you, I heard back personally in direct messages from a good representation of you. Many of you saw that post and read it in full, which it was a long post, so thank you for reading. And I heard a lot of really good feedback that a lot of you are feeling the same way. One of the main reasons people defend their beliefs is because their beliefs are what shape their identity, and people are addicted to their identity. I can think of a few easy ones, and I'm not making fun, but they're easy to think of because it's me and Marissa. For the longest time, I'm a surfer. I'm a personal development coach. I'm a businessman. Well, the longer I entrenched myself in being a businessman, the less I was actually open and thinking and had my unconscious radar, known as your reticular activating cortex, your RAC. I was just not paying attention to real estate. But Marissa was. And she was paying attention a lot. And she had an open identity of being a real estate investor. And that came to her. I'm a scuba dive instructor was her message for the longest time in the DR. She's a scuba dive instructor, and I was a missionary. And when we reached conflict, we weren't sure what to do while we were in Haiti, because our paradigm, our limiting belief is that we're missionaries. And she's a scuba dive instructor. I'm teaching English as a second language, and that's what we do. And our radar was not open and not up to the multitude of other things we could be, until we opened up and gave up that limiting belief. And it was painful and difficult. And the next few weeks and months were challenging as we tried to find our identity. We try to protect our identity. I think it's both a God calling and an evolutionary imperative for us to protect our ego. Our ego causes us to be very efficient agents of entropy. When you have an identity, you plow ahead and you knock down the forest and you build big things, and it's good in a lot of times, but there's also always a negative effect, and entropy is at work. And from an evolutionary perspective, you become a very powerful agent of entropy. From a God perspective, it's how we connect with God. We have these projections of what infinite intelligence is, and whether that's this Yahweh character, this Allah character, I don't care, or oneness. It's an easy way. I am who I am, and it's also a very American way to identify this staunch individualism. Our identity is close to us, and we protect it at all costs. But what happens when that cost starts to shred our society? What happens when staunch individualism and just rebellion for rebellion's sake, just to prove who we are to the world, starts having negative impacts on people that we love? People around us. Well, the truth is it proves that we don't love all the people around us. We only love a very small segment, and we're willing to do whatever, and that should cause you pause. I was reflecting all this over coffee, and it dawned on me that it is more noble to stop defending your beliefs for a variety of reasons. And I'm going to share a few of those here. I shared some of them in the post. Please go back and look. If you know someone who is entrenched, that you guys might agree on their beliefs, you might disagree on their beliefs, please share this. Like this video. Share this video. Tag a friend, because we live on that. It means a huge difference that I make the time to share some of these thoughts with you. So please consider doing that. Let me proceed. Here are the 5 beliefs I gave up and what I learned from them. Number 1. I had a belief that I was good just the way I was in my late teens and early 20s, between the age of 18, 19, and 20. And I kept defending this belief at all costs. I'm good just the way I am. This is who I am. And I was fronting all the time. I had long hair. I was a surfer. I was rebelling. I'd show up to work, and yeah, I was a hard worker, but I would kind of push people around with my belief systems. And I was just not making friends, though I was charismatic. I was not making friends in the adult world, in the professional world. In fact, it came to a head that living and operating in Orlando became unviable because of this modality. I had to move back home. I quit my job. I burnt out. I moved back home. It was just too hard. I wasn't making friends. I wasn't expanding my community. But that's okay, because this is just the way I am, and you got to put up with it. When I stopped defending this belief, and you could say, when I stopped defending this belief that this was my identity. It opened me up to a whole new world of people and a whole new world of personal development. When I gave up the belief when I was 18, 19, 20, probably closer to 20, that I was good just the way I was, when I realized I'm not good just the way I am, what got me here won't get me there, it opened me up to joining a church. You see, before that, I didn't want to join a church. I was good just the way I was. I didn't need this ridiculous community. But when I stopped defending that belief and thought, okay, let's see, it opened me to join a community. It gave me access to a whole new group of people I would not have otherwise had access to. One of those people is still my client today, several of them. So much of my life has opened up because of this group of people. I grew as a man. I grew as an adult. I learned spiritual disciplines like fasting. I did a ton of fasting, praying and connected with God based on a quiet time, reading and studying, getting up early. Everyone knows me as the 4 a.m. guy. I started that because of the church, because I stopped defending this belief that I'm good just the way I am. I'm good just the way I am. When I stopped defending that, when I thought, maybe I'm not so good, and thought, you're right. When someone challenged me and said, hey, you need some help, you're right. It opened me up to join the church and basically opened me up to a whole new group of people. The answer to your prayers come through people, nearly 99.9% of the time. That's the first thing. I gave up defending the belief that I'm good just the way that I am. Now, I still hold this belief in a nuanced way. I'm good the way I am, but I can always get better. That's my new paradigm, and we can unpack that another day. But this was a huge milestone for me at the time. Number 2, can I get confession time? Share this with a friend. Share this with a friend. And I'll probably lose half of you with this one. Judeo-Christianity has the monopoly on truth. The words they use, the things they hold as true, they're the only ones on the planet and through all time who have ever had truth. I used to defend this tooth and nail. I went to college for a semester to learn how to defend this with epistemology and theology. I taught myself Greek to defend it even further, but I found the Greek doesn't support some of these beliefs. For example, the doctrine of hell. The Greek doesn't support the doctrine of hell. Now, there's other aspects of Christianity. A lot of people around me a lot of my Christian friends do not consider me Christian. I do consider myself Christian. We could talk about that some other day. But I no longer defended the belief that Judeo-Christianity has the monopoly of truth. For those who are going to get their dander up, I still believe Christianity has the truth. But I don't believe it has the monopoly on truth. Oof. Unpack that in another theological session. But what it did is it opened me up to language. When I thought that the only word for God was Yahweh or God, God didn't call himself God, right? He called itself Theo in the Greek, Yahweh and the Hebrew. But other religions talk about, and we could learn a lot about the revelation of what we call God or infinite intelligence by opening up our language. When I stopped defending Judeo-Christianity that has the monopoly on truth, my ears started opening up to the variety of ways that the entire population of humanity talks about the divine, talks about infinite intelligence. I realized that historicity, this historically happened, Jonah and the whale happened. It's not important. It's not important as much as the underlying principles of truth and the revelation of infinite intelligence. That allowed me to look past even my Christians' kind of lack of logic with Jonah the whale, and allowed me to see, for example, the underlying principles of truth that are true about that story. But it also allowed me to open up to a whole new group of people. I could now spend time with Muslim people. I could now spend time with Maasai, indigenous people. I could now spend time with people that believe in voodoo in my time in Haiti, and not judge and shut my ears to them, but open my heart and ears to what revelation has God given them. Because that which is true was true long before I was here. And that which is true is true long before Israelis were here and Christians were here. Well, it's true. It's been true throughout all time. So what revelation can I gain from these people? I accessed a whole new group of people, from my friends in the LGBT community to conservatives to Haitians. I thought I was a savior to, but realized I wasn't. Actually connecting with Maasai warriors we met on semester at sea. When I realized there's truth everywhere, truth is immutable, no one has the monopoly on truth. It opened me up to appreciate truth and my roots and the Judeo-Christian tradition even more, because I can enjoy it in a universal way. When I gave up defending Judeo-Christianity as the monopoly of truth, my life expanded. Number 3, when I gave up defending that I had to build a business locally. I started my business locally and my business started thriving. But as soon as I quit defending, no, local only. I only have local talent. It opened me up to a whole new talent pool. I've been able to hire off and on subcontractors from the Philippines and India since the mid-2000s. I think it was Any Sunday was the first group, weird name, was the first group I started hiring back in the mid-2000s after I read 4 Hour Workweek. But over the years, over the last 15 years, I've been hiring people off and on internationally, and I'm able to do things with my company now that I've never been able to do before, simply because I stopped defending the belief that I have to hire local only. I have to hire local only. But this also opened me up to a whole new group of people, and it was a whole new market. I thought I only had to do business locally to thrive. In fact, if anything, selling websites on the website end and selling coaching on the coaching end, and in our bookkeeping company, Adam has been selling bookkeeping clients all over the state, all over the nation. I've got clients from California to Uganda. And it makes a more stable company. It makes me open to learning from far more people. When I stopped defending the belief that I had to build a business locally, it opened me up to the possibilities that have expanded our reach. And now everywhere is home to us. Marissa and I could probably drive without Google Maps from here to North Carolina. It's all our backyard. Anywhere we go is our backyard, simply because as in the dominoes that fell, because I stopped focusing and defending this belief that I had to build a local business only, that I had to be respected in the eyes of the locals only, and focus on that. I started with that, and that got me very far at first. But when we started plateauing, we had to stop defending that belief. That's number 3. Number 4. I had to stop defending this belief that I could not become a coach or trainer without formal education of some kind. I've met, served, and trained everyone from ministers to this day. I've got ministry clients to small business owners to mayors and city commissions that have hired me for different skills that I possess, from linguistics to performance management to just my experience as a small business owner. I've coached a variety of people. Someone who's overcome ADHD to become relatively successful. I still have bigger goals we're still achieving, but to become relatively successful at what I was trying to do, I have had the glory and luxury without a massive formal education. In fact, it wasn't until a few years into coaching and training that I even finished my AA. And I'm back in school now, and that's a struggle. Transparently, a struggle. But I would not step up to the plate until I had some sort of formal coaching and training, formal education. And I'm dropping that. I'm dropping that now. And I'm dropping it in a new way. I dropped it back then. I got to drop it now again, because somehow I picked up this belief again that I'm only going to really be credible if I've got a degree from thus and so. Quite often, your experience carries its own weight. If you can talk competently about your thing and get people results, they won't ask you what your credentials are. Now, if you are in a position to get your credentials, and if season is for that, go for it. I'm going to be a student for life. That could be formal. That could be informal. I'm not against formal education, but I need to let go of the belief that I can't become a successful coach and trainer without it. That's the 4th one, and the last one, number 5. That I have more to learn, even though I have more than proven myself. I need to give up the belief that though I have proven myself, I don't have that much more to learn. Now, I am not conscious consciously purveying this idea that I've arrived. But low key, I think I've hit some levels that I'm very proud of. And we've hit some levels of comfort in our lives that are very comfortable. And I think low key, I pumped the brakes on my studying time, my learning time. Do I really need all of that? All these books? Do I really need to stay ahead of X, Y, and Z? Really? I need to quit defending the belief that, hey, I'm good, hey, I'm good, hey, I'm comfortable. And I need to start opening up to, hey, I haven't even begun yet. I've got some wins under my belt. I believe I have some successes, but not nearly what my goals and dreams demand. And I need to quit defending this belief that, oh, we've done good enough. I need to quit defending the belief that we've done good enough. We've done good, but have we done good enough? Good enough for what? I'm happy with myself. I don't need to defend that. I've been defending that we've been good enough, unconsciously low key. And I need to be open up. We need to do more. Why? Because there's a mission. And that mission we haven't even scratched the surface of that mission. So we need to go further. I need to quit defending that belief. So with these stories, can you see the mechanism? You let go of a belief and a new world opens up to you. A new facet of the world, a new group of people. And remember, prayers get answered through people. So if you can drop your defense, so pick the biggest belief you have that gets you into the most amount of debates, the most amount of arguments, and challenge yourself to not defend it. If someone steps up and confronts you, simply pivot and say, why do you believe that? I'm curious. I'm looking to shape my beliefs. Why do you believe that? And ask them. Learn something. Now you can keep your beliefs. You don't have to change them. But when you quit defending them, you learn more about the world around you. Hey, listen, that's my Monday. That's how I'm starting this week. I hope you're starting this week super powerfully. Get out there, make it a powerful day. Quit defending your beliefs and see your world open up. And listen, if you need any help at all, always visit us in the Facebook Goals and Gratitude group. And definitely visit us at State of the Spark, where we're trying to ignite lives of explosive significance, starting with your own. Have a great day.